In 7th century Arabia, geography was destiny. The vast, arid deserts and steep cliffs made travel punishing and warfare utterly brutal. In the year 627, the city of Medina faced a numbers game it could not win. A Confederate army of 10,000 soldiers was marching toward the city, bearing down on a defending force of only 3,000. At the time, open field battles in this region were almost entirely decided by heavy cavalry. Armored horsemen charging at full speed could easily break a standard infantry line and trigger a total rout. Facing a catastrophic disadvantage, the defenders executed a brilliant piece of military engineering. Using Medina's natural mountain barriers to secure their flanks, they dug a massive trench, the Khandaq, straight across the only open terrain in the north. When the massive Confederate army arrived, their primary weapon was completely neutralized. The war horses could not clear the wide gap, forcing the attackers into a frustrated, sudden halt. But what began as a tactical victory quickly turned into a grinding standoff. For weeks, the defenders were trapped inside the perimeter, enduring freezing night temperatures and rapidly dwindling food supplies. Earth and rock can only buy you time. Eventually, static defenses crack, and the survival of an entire city shifts away from lines on a map to the physical endurance of the soldiers on the ground. After weeks of probing the perimeter, enemy scouts finally spotted a weakness, a narrow, shallow choke point where the trench line had slightly caved in. Without hesitation, an enemy champion violently spurs his warhorse forward and clears the gap, landing directly inside the defending lines. The man who landed inside the perimeter was Amr ibn Abd al-Wud, a giant of a man draped in thick armor. Across Arabia, his reputation was terrifying. He was widely considered to be equal to 1,000 regular soldiers in single combat. He paced in front of the defending infantry, roaring for a challenger. The ranks froze in absolute silence, deeply aware that whoever stepped forward was likely stepping into their grave. The entire defensive strategy of the Khandaq had funneled down into a single fatal gap. If Amr broke the infantry line here, the rest of the army would pour through the breach, and Medina would fall. While veteran fighters hesitated, one voice broke the terrifying silence. A young man named Ali ibn Abi Talib stepped forward, repeatedly volunteering to face the giant. The physical mismatch was glaring. Amr was a towering veteran, clad head to toe in iron. Ali was much younger, physically smaller, and wearing very light armor. But Ali's fighting style did not rely on matching his opponent's brute strength. He fought with rapid agility, precise timing, and an absolute, unshakable faith that anchored his nerves. The clash was intense and blindingly fast. Amr launched heavy, crushing sword strikes, but Ali used swift, calculated footwork to slip inside the older warrior's guard. In a rapid exchange, Ali knocked the giant to the ground, disarming him. Knowing he was defeated, Amr looked up and in a final act of spiteful defiance, spat directly in Ali's face. Instead of delivering the final blow, Ali immediately stepped back. He lowered his sword, turned away, and completely stopped fighting. In the heat of mortal combat, Ali realized the insult had made him angry. If he struck Amr at that exact moment, he would be killing out of personal vengeance and wounded pride, rather than fighting strictly for a divine cause. He waited until his anger passed. This immense restraint proved that his lethal efficiency on the battlefield came from a place of deep internal spiritual discipline, completely detached from human ego. Having purified his intentions, Ali resumed his stance and finally defeated Amr, effectively plugging the fatal breach in the defensive line all by himself. Seeing their supposedly invincible champion fall to a much younger challenger shattered the morale of the opposing forces. Without their cavalry advantage and with their spirits broken, the massive confederacy of 10,000 troops packed up their camps and retreated into the desert. The engineering of the trench worked, but only because it was reinforced by individual courage. For his actions at the Khandaq, Ali was forever cemented in history with the title Asadullah, the Lion of Allah. To this day, Hazrat Ali represents the absolute peak of Islamic chivalry. He achieved an incredibly rare balance, possessing the martial strength to defeat a giant and the spiritual mastery to